While I was making plans for our future together, she cheated on me. She was slinking off with one of her coworkers. And I didn't protest when I learned. I refrained from shouting. I simply vanished. I'm 29-year-old Jason. I spent more than 4 years with Mia. We shared everything and lived together. I genuinely believed she was the one. Everything about our lives, friends, routines, hopes for the future, was interconnected. However, a few months ago, something started to feel strange. Mia started working late a lot. Her phone was inverted all the time. She chuckled at texts that she kept private. She became defensive and claimed I didn't trust her when I questioned her. I gave it up. Then everything changed one night. She had left our shared laptop's email open. I wasn't prying. I was merely verifying something. I noticed the messages at that point. A series of amorous emails she exchanged with her new coworker, Ryan. Hotel reservations and nightly information. I assumed she was attending dinners for girls. Images are evidence. I had the sensation that my chest was giving way. I refrained from crying. I refrained from screaming. I simply closed the laptop and sat there feeling numb for hours. That's when I had the idea. Not retaliation. Simply flee. I waited. I observed. And I acted when she went to see her relatives one Saturday. I packed up all of my belongings. My laptop, toiletries, clothes, and watch. I left the items we had purchased together. Memories weren't what I wanted. I had no desire to fight. I prevented her from accessing anything. Social media, phones, everything. Just silence, with no explanation or notation. Later, I learned from mutual acquaintances that when she returned home that night, the flat was only partially occupied. The closet on my side was empty. Only her belongings were in the bathroom cabinet. She attempted to phone me. Numerous missed calls and texts poured in, but none of them were delivered. She even gave my folks a call. "Jason's okay, but he doesn't want to talk," my mother answered simply. I was silent for days. I remained absent. Then I received a message from Erica, one of Mia's close pals. "Are you okay? Mia is going crazy." I claimed to be all right. That I was aware of Ryan. She didn't respond again. As it turns out, Mia had been acting as though she didn't know why I had left, telling everyone that I had simply left, crying, panicking, and playing the victim by claiming to be afraid and devastated. However, I wasn't going to allow her to alter the facts. I discreetly forwarded screenshots to some of my closest pals. The truth, not animosity. They need to understand why I abruptly departed. Before long, people began to avoid her. Messages stopped one by one. Friends arrived. Even Ryan, the man she had an affair with, began to stay away from her. The drama was too much for him to bear. She apparently attempted to change the subject once more, claiming that we had been drifting away for some time, that I was too preoccupied with my job, that I was aloof, and that she felt alone. However, people who were familiar with us and witnessed our connection firsthand understood better. They recalled my treatment of her. How I always made sure to tell her that I loved her. How I provided for her, organized vacations, and found time despite my hectic schedule. I didn't go missing due to an error. She betrayed my confidence, so I vanished. What's left after it is gone? She was by herself. A buddy told me she was having panic attacks, was unable to eat, and couldn't sleep. She persisted in asking why he would take such a drastic departure. The true question, unsaid, was why she sacrificed everything for a few months of covert courting. I had no desire for vengeance. I did not want her to be in pain. All I wanted was some distance. Peace was what I desired. And my response was silence. She persisted in anticipating a brawl, an explanation, or a spectacular split. But since some betrayals don't deserve to be resolved, I didn't give her anything. They should be kept at a distance. I had been gone for over 2 months. No drama, no texts, no contact. I had relocated to a tiny apartment on the other side of town. A peaceful setting with no shared memories, just room to breathe. I wasn't devastated. I had lost my anger. I had just finished. Mia, however, was still looking for me. Friends informed me that she was circulating the internet, sending lengthy texts to anyone who would still respond. Where is Jason? Is he all right? Why is he refusing to speak to me? She was still unable to grasp it. Then everything changed one day. It began with a picture. On their Instagram story, a mutual friend shared a group photo. I was in the backdrop of a typical moment at my favorite cafe, laughing and clutching coffee mugs. She observed it. I took a seat at my normal table the following morning. 8:30 a.m. I was drinking coffee and using my laptop as usual when I felt it. A shadow above my head. I raised my head. She was the one. Mia, looking prepared for a job interview with her hair curled, makeup flawless, and outfit. Her eyes were wide, as if she was incredulous that I was genuine. Jason, she said, her voice tremulous. Just my name. No, hi, no apology, just shock. Whispering, you just left, she said. No warning, no goodbye. People were beginning to look around in the cafe. A scene was not what I wanted. Silently, I murmured, sit. She continued to stare as she slid into the seat across from me. Her voice cracked. You disappeared as if I didn't matter after 4 years. I spoke in a calm tone. Mia, do you know why I left? Her lips were quivering as she shook her head. You have the option to speak with me. Let me clarify. Describe what? Trying not to raise my voice, I asked. How you and Ryan were having sex as I was organizing our upcoming trip. Or was it only about having a sense of life again? She started crying. That wasn't the case. You were constantly at work. We were becoming more and more distant. I extended my hand. Give up. This is not what we're doing. I'm not here to listen to you change the past to suit your own mood. She appeared injured. However, I refused to play her game. So why did you ask Eric to see how I was doing? She made a demand. Why should I worry if I'm all right? I said just because I'm not unkind. I don't owe you another opportunity, even though I didn't want you to spiral. I maintained my composure. I owe you nothing at all. When you decided to cheat, you terminated it. I just finished it. After the coffee shop incident, a few weeks went by. That seemed to be the end of it. Mia ceased contacting people. Our pals ceased discussing her. It was quiet again. I concentrated on my work, my health, and my tranquility. Then it took place. I received a text message one evening from an unidentified number. Hello, Jason, it said. Emma is here. We must speak. I gazed at it for a while. Mia gave me the new name Emma. Wait, please. Then I recalled that Emma was, I believed, Ryan's ex-girlfriend. That wasn't it, though. I went over the message once more. I felt sick to my stomach. Mia has not spoken to her former friend Emma in years. However, why was she messaging me? I gave a thoughtful response. What's going on here? She responded quickly. It has to do with Mia. 3:00 p.m. tomorrow at Riverwalk Cafe. Come by yourself, please. I had no idea what to anticipate, but curiosity prevailed. I got there early the following day and picked a peaceful corner table. She arrived at precisely 3:00, taller than I had anticipated. No engagement ring, confident. She looked around the room before settling on me. She approached and took a seat. Jason, she said quietly, Yeah, you're Emma. She gave a nod. Thanks for coming. I know this is strange. It is, I acknowledged. Why are we here? She inhaled deeply. I didn't come on Mia's behalf, and I'm not here for her. She is unaware that I reached out to you. So, what would you like? She remarked. I needed to see the man she talks about all the time. That took me by surprise. She mentions me. Emma gave me a direct glance. You continue to torment her in spite of everything. She is still fixated on you because of what transpired. I said nothing. I'm not standing up for her, she added. However, I've witnessed her disintegrate in ways I never imagined. She informed me about the affair and how you found out and vanished while I leaned back. She wasn't prepared for that. She assumed you would be upset. Weep. Perhaps pardon her. I let out a sigh. Back then, she didn't truly know me. Emma smiled sadly. I came here to say precisely that. She leaned closer. Now, take it seriously. Did you ever share with her, Jason, how important trust was to you in your past? Your limits? I stopped. She was quite aware. I informed her that deception and infidelity caused my parents' marriage to fail. I informed her that I don't think shattered trust should be repaired. Emma gave a nod. However, she believed that love would triumph over that. She believed you would defend her. I said quietly that she had made her decision. Mine was mine. I understand, she said. I did, however, come for a purpose. She must give up this delusion that she is still clinging to. Additionally, I believe you do. What kind of fantasy? That you two are still not done with each other. That perhaps everything could turn around if the words or the timing were appropriate. Sincerely, a tiny, secret part of me had wondered, so I kept quiet. Is there anything I could have done differently? Emma went on. I believe that the consequences of her error are still being felt by you. I continue to question whether it was the proper decision to vanish. I answered, it was, but I didn't sound as solid as I would have liked. She told me you were considerate, compassionate, and devoted till the end, and you were. That was her betrayal. However, she was quite shocked by the way you left. I stated that shock and regret are not the same thing. Emma stood up and said, true. She stopped, then said, but punishing yourself or her forever won't bring healing. I am not here to help you two reconcile. Actually, the reason I came was to express my gratitude. I blinked. For what purpose? For demonstrating to me what it looks like to be someone who genuinely values love. Mia didn't appreciate her possessions, but I learned what I deserved from seeing her fail. She turned to go. Then she paused and turned around. Jason, I pray you find peace. Not just silence, but true peace. And when you're ready, I hope you fall in love again. She turned to go. I sat there contemplating for a while. She was correct. I had departed to preserve my tranquility. However, I had become stuck in the past somewhere amid that silence. Perhaps it was time to make a real progress. After 2 months, I believed it was finally finished. My phone then buzzed. Isla, one of our longtime pals, sent out a group message. It included information about a private celebration downtown and an engagement party on the roof. I was struck by the names like a tsunami. Lucas and Mia. Lucas. I stared at it. Mia was already getting engaged. In an attempt to determine whether this communication was intended for me, I scrolled up. Then I understood that it was most likely an error. In some group from years ago, I was still saved. Isla had neglected to take me out. Although I should have disregarded it, I chose not to. I spent the entire day gazing at that message. My thoughts continued to race. Who was Lucas? What was the duration of their relationship? Had she truly moved on? I made up my mind by midnight. I didn't go to that party to start a fight. I promised myself to remain composed. To find out if I was still feeling anything, I just had to see her. I then put on my clothes. Clean shave, new clothing. I felt strange and uneasy, even though I appeared sharp. Not because I liked her, but more because I wasn't certain whether I still harbored animosity for her. About 8:30 p.m., I arrived fashionably late. There were lots of people on the rooftop. Music was playing, and fairy lights were blazing. I approached the hostess. "Jason Cole," I said with assurance. "I'm here for the engagement party." She looked down at her tablet. "I apologize, but your name is not on the list." Naturally, I wasn't. Then a recognizable voice approached from the side. "What are you doing here, Jason?" With champagne in hand, it was Isla. Her face turned pallid. I showed my phone and stated, "I got the invite." Message to the group. Her grin vanished. It was an error. That wasn't supposed to be given to you. Heads turned as people began to notice, and I finally made out her in the crowd. Mia was standing next to a man wearing a navy suit. I figured it was Lucas. Before she noticed me, they were giggling with their pals. She stopped smiling. Lucas also took note. He put a soft, protective hand on her back. He simply stood with her without saying anything. She appeared astonished. Then something unexpected happened. Disgrace. The hostess was on her radio already. "Safety for the roof," she whispered, and I heard it. Isla took hold of my arm. "Please, Jason. This is not the location." At last, she has gone on. I gave a nod. "I'm going." I took one final look at Mia before leaving. There were people all around her. Happy people. In order to whisper something in her ear, Lucas bent down. Slowly, she nodded. They appeared genuine, cozy, and sturdy. I turned to Isla and said, "Congratulate her. Say to her, I hope this time she's truly happy." Isla became softer. "Jason, she's not the same girl. I also have changed as a person." I was followed to the elevator by security. I felt like a ghost even though I wasn't ejected. I gazed out the window during the cab journey home. That was it. Not verbal closure. Not another opportunity. Just witnessing it firsthand. She had truly vanished. Not only physically but also spiritually and emotionally. We lost whatever connection we had. I then received one more message that evening. Emma sent it. "Did you hear? She has gotten engaged." "Yes," I said. "How are you feeling?" I was silent for a while before responding. Free. I had lost my anger. I didn't feel envious. I wasn't even depressed. I felt liberated, as though I had released a bulky bag I had been unaware I was carrying. I had been harmed by Mia's treachery once, but I had allowed it to define me for too long. It was time to put the past behind us. The following morning, I gave my sister a call. "I believe I'm prepared." What was it I told her? To truly speak in order to go forward. After a little delay, she finally stated what I needed to hear. "Come on over. That is what I have been waiting for." So I did. Something changed that day. I began to heal by forgiving myself for allowing her to linger in my thoughts for so long, rather than by looking for a new partner. Everybody has to make decisions. Mia created hers. Mine was made by me. I'm going with peace now. Not regret, not retaliation, not silence, just peace.